I have a problem here. I want to measure the EMF of this cell. Now you might think, what's the big deal? Simply connect a voltmeter across the cell and find out the EMF of the cell. But in that case, since a real voltmeter does not have infinite resistance, what I am measuring is the terminal potential difference and not the EMF of the cell. One possible solution to this problem could be that I use a potentiometer. Now let's look at this. How can we use a potentiometer to find the EMF of a cell? A potentiometer is a device which is used in the laboratory. It consists of several pieces of wire about 1 meter long, and all these pieces are joined to each other by thick copper strips. So you see the wire is like this, then this is joined here, then this, and then this is joined here. So you have this joined with thick copper strips. So finally you get one single wire from A to B. So this is a resistance. This is the wire AB, which is a very long wire, maybe about 5 to 10 meters long, and this is joined to a battery and a variable resistance or a rheostat, and this is the primary circuit or the driving circuit for the potentiometer. The cell whose EMF is to be measured is connected here. I'll just draw a couple of more connections and then I'll explain why are we using this. This is the cell whose EMF is unknown, and we are using another cell whose EMF is known. We know the EMF of this cell. Now over here we have a two-way switch. So a two-way switch is one that if you change the connection, then the other part of the circuit can be used. So this is S1 and S2. If S1 is used, then E1 will be in the circuit, and if S2 is used, then E2 will be a part of the circuit. Now this is connected to a galvanometer and then to a jockey, which is a variable contact which can move along this resistance AB, which is the wire of the potentiometer. I'll just talk about the steps that you perform when you're doing this experiment in the laboratory, and then after that we will see how can we derive the expressions that we are using. First of all, the key is placed here, so E1 is in the circuit and the current is going to flow in this direction. We move the jockey along the potentiometer wire till the current in the galvanometer becomes 0, and we note down the balancing length, and let's say we call this length L1. Now E1 is proportional to L1. Next we place the key over here, so E2 is in the circuit and E1 is no longer in the circuit. Once again we move the jockey J along the potentiometer wire AB till the current in the galvanometer becomes 0, and now let the balancing length be L2. So E1 was proportional to L1 and E2 is proportional to L2. E1 over E2 is equal to L1 over L2. We have found L1 and L2 experimentally. We already know E2, so we can find E1, which is the unknown EMF, and that is what we had started out with. We wanted to find out the unknown EMF. Now I'm sure you must be keen to know that why is E1 proportional to a certain length L1 and E2 proportional to a certain length L2. See, we can just redraw this circuit. Let's say the jockey is placed at this point over here, So you can think of this as two resistances. One is R1 and the other is R2. You have a cell which is connected over here, and the cell is connected through a galvanometer. Let's just draw the currents. Let's say we have current I which comes here. At this junction, say current I1 goes here and I minus I1 goes into this part. Now we have moved the jockey till the current over here in the galvanometer is equal to 0. If the current in the galvanometer is 0, that means the current in this part of the circuit is 0. So we can say that I1 is equal to 0. Now if I1 is 0, so then I minus I1 is equal to I, because this current is 0. So which means now that all the current which comes in over here flows into this part of the circuit. So I can just remove this, there is no current here, and so now we can say current I comes in over here and current I flows into this, but the current going into this part of the circuit is 0. Now let us apply Kirchhoff's rule, the loop rule, for this loop over here. See, you have E1, this is E, and this cell will have a small internal resistance R, which is a series resistance. So we have E minus I R1 minus I R, but there is no current over here because the current in this branch of the circuit is 0. So I can just put this as 0 times R is equal to 0. So this means this is not making any contribution, which gives us E is equal to I times R1. Now since the wire has uniform cross-sectional area, R1, the resistance R1 can be written as rho L over A, and L1 is the balancing length because this is the length for which the current in this part of the circuit is 0. Now you can see from this expression over here that E is proportional to L1 since all the other factors are constant. Since I, rho and A will not change in this circuit. So now we come to the last part. You have to point out what is the error in each of these cases. Look carefully at the diagrams. In the first case, the connections have to be reversed. The positive terminal is here. At end A, the positive terminal of X as well as that of E are connected. Otherwise, there will be no zero current position. In the second case, at balance point, the current over here, the current in this branch is 0 and the current in this branch is I. In the third case, this cell cannot have a lower EMF than this. The driver circuit will always have a greater EMF than this secondary circuit. So X has to always be greater than E. In the fourth case, if the EMF is more, then the balancing length will also be more. So if this was 1.5 volts, then for 1.2 volt you will get a smaller balancing length than 1.5 volts. And this of course is a big error. You need to have a big smile on your face. If you've got all the questions right, give yourself a pat on your back and do let me know your name. And if you haven't got them right, just try them once again.